Like I watch gameplay of Tomb Raider, and anything that's based in reality, I don't do like super humanoid, like fucking ridiculously huge people, because like
Right.
nobody gets that big, and it takes me out of it. And I'm like, no, sorry.
Like Gears of War sucked.
Right, Nathan?
Right. I don't know what we're talking about really.
No, I just said Gears of War sucked because the guys were too big to be realistic.
It's just an art style. And they weren't that big.
Yeah, they were. They were huge. And I was just kidding.
Like, they look fucking massive in the game, but in any like promotional thing, they were like slimmed down a little bit. It always looked like
They just have like, I mean, they are bigger, but they have freaking huge armor on.
got jacked up from fucking each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's get all veiny and hard before we kill Locust. Oh yeah, fudge me.
Fudge man. Hello and welcome back to the FTHcast. How you doing? It is episode 11 and we are here just some gamers talking about video games. And I'm here, of course, with my two bestest FTH casters ever.
The wonderful, terrific Kyle.
The wonderful and horrendous and kind of smelly Kyle. Say hello, Kyle.
Hello, welcome back.
And of course, we also have a Nathan. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Ah, yes, and we are here, and we are not queer, but we are going to talk about video games. And most importantly, this week we are talking about mobile/handheld games.
Everybody's a little gay, aren't they?
Well, just for you, Kyle.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm winking, by the way. Yeah, so we're talking about mobile games and handheld games. And I kind of want to start out kind of the same way I always start out, really, with these topics. I want to just know your general opinion. Let's get that out on the floor from the beginning, so that way all bias is known. So, how do you feel about just like handheld/mobile gaming? Nathan, you go first.
As far as mobile gaming, I'm not a fan. Really, the only time I ever use mobile gaming is literally when I'm bored out of my mind and I need to kill some time.
Yeah.
Handheld, I mean, I had a 3DS for a little while, and I mean, I enjoyed some games on there. It's just, I don't know, it's just not the same experience as to when I'm playing a console game. I just can't get into it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, can't sit there for several hours just playing Mario or whatever.
How about you, Kyle?
Is this going to be cleverly edited with video game noises to conceal profanities?
If need be.
It's fucking stupid. I think I just don't like them.
But why?
There's nothing that makes me want to play them. There's absolutely no, like Nathan said, even if I have time to play one, I'm like, I'll just kill some time. Like, I don't enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So let's say this. Say Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time only came out on the 3DS and never came out on GameCube, and you heard about how amazing it was. Would you just never play it?
It
Or
wouldn't
just
be
hate
that
it?
amazing.
That's
It's
not
the
a
same
fair
game.
question. But
No, go ahead.
I don't know.
See, and
That's not a fair
Maybe it's
question.
because it's on just such a small screen, and I don't. Graphics doesn't make everything, but graphics does make me get into a game.
And like all the sound is coming out of like a eighth of an inch speaker,
Yeah.
and
I think-
it's just let me sit down, crank my surround sound up, and play on a 55-inch television.
Right.
Thank you. Good night.
Right. Well, I mean, my personal opinion, like, I don't really mind mobile gaming. I only have one real big problem with it, and that's literally having to hold the controller and the screen to where I can see it. Like when I play on my mouse and keyboard, my hands are just like dead. They're just like sitting on the mouse and keyboard. And when I play console games, typically, the controller's like as down and as relaxed as possible. But I hate like having to hold the stupid thing up in the air just so I can look at it at the same time. That's what drives me crazy, and that's why.
See, that was my big problem with the 3DS. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's like a really awesome piece of technology. It's 3D without the glasses and everything like that.
Yeah.
But after sitting there trying to play Ocarina, which is a lengthy game, if you're playing through, getting all the gold scotellas hard. I mean, trying to control that, hold the screen, and then just have your hand in a comfortable place is near impossible. Like I bought one of the like silicone rubber grips for it, and that helps out. But even still, after that, it gets a little bit uncomfortable because I have I'm a baby, and I complain about my hands hurting after video games while my grandfather fought in World War II, and so
it's okay. Yeah, I think if I had gotten, and of course I only own a 3DS. I've owned a PSP before. I play games on my phone. I've owned Game Boy Advance, Game Boys. Maybe we should have started with that. What exact type of mobile platforms you've played on? But anyway, doesn't matter.
Game Gear.
I have played
Sega Nomad. Get out of town.
No.
Oh yeah.
I've never played a Nomad. But anyway, I think if I had gotten the XL, if the XL had come out like alongside, I think I'd like that a lot better because the screen's a little bit bigger. I can hold it further away from me. I can probably, and
the XL now is even bigger. It actually looks. I don't know. I was tempted to buy one.
I was gonna say, I think out of all of them, the Vita definitely probably has some good games, but the DS is just. It's really good. As a matter of fact, I heard, I think it was this week, maybe last week. I think it was this week. In Europe, the 3DS was outselling in games and in consoles the Xbox and the PlayStation 3 right now, which makes sense with the Xbox and PlayStation 3 consoles. But for games, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, I guess they're not releasing a whole lot right now, but neither is the 3DS. I mean, they had Animal Crossing. I don't think they've had anything real big since then. So,
I'm really like handheld gaming's like mobile games and stuff. Well, mobile gaming's a little less than handheld game, but I'm like I want to love it. Like I hear about all these people like, oh, Animal Crossing's awesome, Ocarina of Time, 3D, this or that, the other. Like I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I mean, that's why I got a 3DS. I was like, oh, I'll try it out. But it wore off so fast, and I don't know, like. I want to really like it.
Yeah.
But I don't find myself in a situation where if I have downtime to play a video game, it's when I'm home.
Right.
And I'm going to choose my console over a handheld any day. I mean, so.
Right.
That's kind of more where I stand.
I tell you another reason why because I've always been that way. I've always just like hated playing games on handheld, but I've really grown more accustomed to it with the 3DS because I was just sitting here thinking like what makes a good like mobile game or handheld game is you have to be able to just stop. You have to be able to just stop. Like, okay, I'm done playing now. Like, I don't want to play anymore. I'm tired of playing, or I got to get up and get off the train, or I got to go into the doctor's office or whatever. I just need to stop now. And that's what's really nice about the 3DS is no matter what game you're playing, you just close it goes to sleep, and all is good. Like for, the next few hours, unless you have it plugged in, and then it's all as good as forever. So I think that's really important. And I think that's what's kind of weird about those games is like I started playing a playthrough of Ocarina of Time on the 3DS, and I definitely didn't get that far in it before I just was like, I don't want to play anymore. But it was kind of nice being able to just know that I don't have to worry about saving it and going back to the tree, where he sleeps and stuff, and then having to run back to the dungeon or whatever. Like I can just close it and it's all saved and it's right then and there. So I don't know. That's another plus for me.
It's just a different experience for me. I mean, I guess if people grown up playing just handhelds and stuff and not really had much on consoles, like I guess I can understand the appeal, but yeah, it's just I don't know, something different to me, and I don't care for it.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I kind of let's actually move towards mobile gaming because we haven't really talked about that much in this last topic, and I have little to none experience. No, Kyle, I'm not. I'm just gonna tell you, I'm not getting any robot voice. You're texting me. It's fine.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt the FTHcast to talk about robot voices. Excuse me.
I think it's just you. If you need to,
I'm hearing it on both of you guys actually.
Well, let's just take a quick break and we'll come right back to it. To the next topic. This is a good stopping point. So let's try to fix it. All right, we are back. Short little technical difficulty there, but that's all right. I might edit this out. Might not. Who knows? Who cares? So let's move to. I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about the NVIDIA gaming? No, let's go. Let's first go into mobile gaming because I think then we can segue into the new NVIDIA chip pretty well after that. So I guess and we're talking like phones, tablets, like non-gaming central devices. Little computers. What experience? I mean, have you guys other than? I mean, I guess I would assume, and I would hope not, but that we've all played Angry Birds and stuff like
Sadly.
that. What? I guess what are some of the games that you guys have tried on mobile devices? Anyone who wants to go first?
Most of them were just simple games, just like side scrollers or just like puzzle games, or you have your freaking dictionary game and whatever the other ones are, Words with Friends, that kind of crap.
Oh yeah.
But I've tried playing Infinity Blade, which is actually it's pretty impressive the way it looks. But the thing that gets me with mobile games is like whenever you try to get into a game like Infinity Blade, the controls, it's just I don't know. I hate the touchscreen trying to make a character move and attack and stuff like that. Right. And not only that, you're taking up your freaking screen with your fingers trying to tap where you need to go and move your character around. And it just gets annoying.
Yeah. What about you, Kyle? What games have you played?
Of course, I've played Angry Birds. Had the demo, though. Never bought the full-fledged game, so I saved a little bit of pride there.
Loser.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still coughing.
I played all the Angry Birds, including the Star Wars and Indiana Jones versions.
Oh my gosh. I hope not.
I don't know if I've ever played Angry Birds, honestly. I'm trying to think if I have. I don't think I have, actually.
But I got, like I said, I think it was, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 shows back, like, I tried to get more into it, and this was even on, like obviously the handheld, and, like, kind of when I was trying to get more into the Xbox Live Arcade kind of style games, too, but I do have a game on my iPad called Forgotten Winds, which is
farting.
About farting, yes. But it's simple art style. It's really kind of charming. Like, you control this character. You tell him. The good thing about that is your fingers. It's touchscreen, but your fingers aren't on the. Well, obviously it's an iPad, so it's a little bit bigger. But your fingers aren't on the thing obstructing it. You just. It's almost like a point and click. Like, if you want him to go forward, you just point on the screen to where you want him to go, and it travels there. And the way you platform is that the theory is he uses this wind spirit, and you just flick him up to wherever you want him to go.
Yeah.
But even still, the controls are kind of awkward at points, and it gets kind of irritating. But I also played the Battlefield Bad Company game on my iPhone.
Oh, you would.
Well, I got a iTunes.
I'm just kidding, man.
Well, we all know that Bad Company is a better series than Battlefield, so.
Especially on the phone.
Especially on phones. But I got an iTunes gift card for like $30, or I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I got it and like that one app where you could like see the stars and stuff like that. But it was really kind of awkward. The controls weren't too great, so it was. I don't know. I felt like I was more stumbling through it than actually like progressing.
Yeah.
I've had bad to mediocre experiences with just pure mobile games, and then of course that leads me into, obviously, like I said, I had a 3DS, but I'll save that.
Right. Well, I've played. Let's just go real quick. I played Infinity Blade, Infinity Blade. I downloaded, and I wasted way too much money when I did this. But like, I got the original Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 2, which works really well on the devices, because they're all like menu based, because they're Square Enix RPGs, but they're also like $14 each, which is way too expensive. I don't know why I paid for those. And then I played just some random free games. I got Civilization 5 or 4 maybe. And then just some other just random games. I always try to find like free games, because I know, like, I finally learned, like, I'm not going to spend the time on my phone playing games. Like, it wastes the battery down, and that's something that's one thing. Like, when I play my 3DS, it's either right by the plug or it is plugged in. Like, that's just the way I play. Like, when I had a laptop, I always had it plugged in. So I kind of hate that's one of the reasons I really don't like phone games too, because it just runs my battery down. That drives me crazy. But yeah, I just kind of dibbled and dabbled, like, just with random free games and crap like that. And I've tried to play some like multiplayer games with Mitch. I can't remember what they were. One of them was like a Diablo clone, but they were just horrible. It's just and like, you kind of both talked about it, but like, without screw graphics. Like, I don't care what the game looks like. At the end of the day, I just don't care what the game looks like, as long as it makes sense. As long as visually it makes sense, I don't care how nice or simple it is. What I do care about is that the controls make sense, and that they're easy, and that they work with the platform. And people just think they're going to be so clever and put a little touchscreen controller on your gamepad or your phone, and you're just going to be able to just, like, now you can play a 3D Call of Duty game. No, you can't, because it's impossible to do. But there are some, like, games that I haven't played that I heard are, like, really, really good, and they're perfect for the phone. Like, there was a Rayman, I can't remember what it's called now, but it was kind of just like an auto runner. So the character just runs automatically, and you just tell him when to jump. There's one button to it. All you gotta do is touch it, and he jumps, and you just have to time everything just right. And that was definitely, like, a really popular, but it was also just really simple. And I'm just gonna say, like, the only reason phone and tablet gaming is popular is because everybody owns a phone, and everybody gets bored and just sits there on their phone. Like, it's
just convenient.
Yeah.
Can I give you my theory on why it's popular?
Why?
Because parents suck and they don't know how to raise children. They just give them their iPhone or their iPad.
But that's the thing, though. If it was just kids, it'd be a few million kids. But adults buy these games too. Like, they sit on the toilet instead of reading a book. They sit there and play Angry Birds. I know that for a fact.
They see their infant sitting in the corner, and they're like, "Oh, I could be spending time with him, but he's having fun playing that game, so maybe I'll try it when I'm at work." Being an even more horrible parent.
But yeah, it's definitely because, I mean, everybody has phones, and so they're just there. And the simple ones, like Angry Birds, like and like Words with Friends and You Draw or whatever that. No, it wasn't You Draw. What was the thing? It was like Watch Me Draw or something like that.
Draw something.
Draw something. Yeah, that was it. They're just super simple, and so anyone can get into them. And they either charge you nothing and then say, "Hey, if you pay a little extra, you can get an extra whatever." And and there was just money to be made. I mean, that's why we see all this, and it's just super casual gaming. That's really what it is. It's not just casual gaming; it's super casual gaming. It's just like some of them, like I was saying, that one Rayman game. It's one button. There's nothing else to it. Like Pac-Man has more strategy in that one game, and it has 4 buttons. And Pac-Man could easily be considered a super, well, not super, but a fairly casual game. But yeah, it's just this whole generation of newer games that anybody can play. And it's actually, I'll let you guys say something here in a second, but I want to say one more thing because I just thought about this. I just watched an interview on Rev3 Games where what's his face from X Play, Adam Sandler. No, Adam Sessler did an interview with the guy who created Tetris, who's Russian. And he was like, why do you think this game is so popular? And he's like, well, because it was just easy. He's like, no one really loved it, and no one really hated it. It was just a simple game that anybody could play. And, I mean, if you think about it now, I mean, guy probably is a bajillionaire because Tetris is on everything and has been on everything and will be on everything for the rest of eternity because it's just a super simple, easy game. Any thoughts?
I mean, I agree. I mean, like I said, yeah, it's all about just convenience and something to kill time with.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, everyone has a phone. I mean, I get them. I mean, everyone plays a game on their phone, I'm sure, at least once a day, no matter what you're doing. I'm sure you have something and you're just bored. So that's why it's so successful. I mean, $1. Most people are just like, oh, whatever. I'll spend $1 on this game and
Yeah.
kill 30 minutes and never play it again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like
I always immediately any game that I get, whether it's like free or not, like it loses its. I played for like 10 minutes and I'm over it. Like I used to have an actual like game folder on my iPhone, and I just completely deleted it because it was just taking up space. I was like, I never play any of these.
Yeah.
Even the ones that I spent money on, like the Battlefield one, was, I mean, several dollars, which is more than I would ever pay for any app or game or anything like that. But granted, I can still download it because I have previously, but I was just like, nah, no.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a line, a pretty strict line that's drawn between people who play games on their phones and then like actual gamers. And I think there's very few actual gamers that I think really enjoy games on their phones. I mean, there's definitely some out there. I've seen and heard of other like industry people talk about how they like, you know, enjoy certain games on their phones and they find them really interesting and fun and they'll play them all the way through. But yeah, I think for like us who grew up with the screen in front of our face and, you know, at least 25 inches big, like it's kind of weird to like be staring down in our hands, even though we had Game Boys and stuff, but those were just like silly games. Those are games we played when we had long trips. We didn't play them when we were sitting in our room necessarily.
See, I think where mobile gaming fails is when they try to bring that console experience to, like the more, like you said, the simpler it is on a mobile platform, the more successful it is. Like, one button. I mean, you know, essentially, there was one button for Angry Birds. I mean, you could argue that it had two because you pull back to launch it and then tap the screen if the bird could do whatever. But
a special ability.
Yeah, you're not using two fingers at once. So but I agree with the more they try to make it a immersive console experience or just whatever, like the more it fails to me, and I just don't get it. So, but yeah, like it seems the simpler it is, the better off you're going to be.
Oh yeah, I definitely. I mean,
and I hate when people not just like, I don't know. They always claim that phone and mobile gaming is the future of gaming, and consoles are going to be obsolete in 10 years or whatever. I just think that's a stupid statement. Like, I don't know, for like we're talking here, I would never get rid of my console or my PC or something like that for be like, man, I was really jonesing to get on my phone and play. I don't know, whatever.
I think the only way that would happen is if your phone turned into your console, where I would hook my phone up into my TV. Like, it's never going to be where everybody just sits there and plays on their phone.
I mean, that's what the oh yeah is for, or whatever it is. Ooh
yeah. Yeah.
Weren't people? I mean, people have been saying that about the PC for a decade now. Like, it's dying. Consoles are going to replace it. But I mean, I'm getting to the point now where if it weren't for all my friends having consoles, I mean, I'd much rather have a PC where I can use Steam and it looks better, and you know what I mean. So like,
and there's some unique experiences that you can get on the computer that you like, just with like point and click adventures that you're not necessarily going to get on consoles. They just won't really work.
That's the thing too. Like the first time I'm like by far a PC new, like to the max. So like the first time I came over and you're like, oh, this is what Steam looks like. I was like, what is this treasure trove you've laid before me? Like there's so many games you would never ever knew existed if you had a Game Informer, or like if that's what you were exposed to. You would not know what PC games are, other than the fact that you're like, oh, what's PC mean? This game comes out on something called PC. I don't know what that is.
Right. Yeah.
But like, you know, the Binding of Isaac, Don't Starve, like all those games, I would have literally never have known about if it weren't for seeing them on your PC. So,
and I mean, and it'll be. We're kind of getting a little off topic, I guess, but I mean, eventually, obviously, everything's going to get smaller. I mean, eventually, our consoles won't need to be as big as they are now, and supposedly, this next generation is going to be smaller than the last. I haven't seen one up close, but it feels like they're both big machines. But I mean, eventually, we're going to be able to have all the power we need in the palm of our hands. I mean, Star Trek is the future. We know this. I've attested to this many times. If you want to know what the future is going to be like, just watch Star Trek, because that's exactly what is going to happen. It is the future. So I think eventually, but I still don't think that, and this will move us on to our next topic, really, about this NVIDIA, the next mobile gaming chip from NVIDIA is supposedly going to be a more powerful graphical chip than what is currently in PlayStation 3s. Which is fantastic. I mean, that's just great, right? It can render super awesome details. But if, like, my first thought is, okay, so you have a really high resolution phone, right? So you have really high resolution textures, but it's 4 inches, wide or whatever at the most.
Yeah.
So you're not seeing any of this. It's too small for you to see. It's microscopic. So I don't know. Like, what do you do? Just like,
what's the point? Like, I mean, I understand it'd be stupid just to leave graphics the way they are now. I understand improving them, but like something like, I'll watch the little video on that article and I was just like, yeah, this looks incredible. But yeah, like you're saying, it's on a little 3-inch screen. And
I mean, I guess you could have like really simple textures and just like an extreme render distance and have like 1,000 things going on the screen, but then at the same time you still have the same problem. It's just so small. Like, why try to jam a bunch of graphics into something that's so small? If it's gonna be able to have like an HD, I mean, assuming that this card is as powerful as it is, it can have, if you could have a little HDMI slot on your phone and be able to hook it up to a monitor or your TV, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, that would be cool. Then I could have my phone, and then I guess I could use the phone as a controller, and then my TV as a screen. Actually, that wouldn't be bad at all. Like that I could see the future of mobile game. I guess it wouldn't necessarily be mobile, but it kind of would be, I guess. Like, you just hook it up to whatever TV's nearby, and then it turns into a controller, and then your TV's the screen, and then you just sit there with a little digital controller. I could get down with that.
Isn't that what the Wii U is? Just minus a phone feature?
It does have, yeah, pretty much, and it's more of a tablet than anything.
You just invented the Wii U.
I did invent the Wii U, except for the Wii U still has a console attached to it. This would all be within just the handheld device.
Yeah. You'd have a
nice try.
A like 8-foot long HDMI cord going from your phone to your television.
Well, assuming that's what the future holds, maybe, I don't know.
I'm just saying, wouldn't it, if it was future tech, wouldn't it make sense to have a receiver plugged into the back of the television?
I was about to say, a lot of televisions, all you gotta do is add Bluetooth, really.
Well, Bluetooth technology,
I was about to say, yeah. Then you're set. Bluetooth in TV, Bluetooth in your phone, assuming that Bluetooth advances a little bit better, so it's a little bit quicker. So you don't want too much lag between the controller and the screen. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely ways to do it wirelessly. I was just thinking graphics cards and outputs from graphics cards, but whatever. I'm sorry.
Ugh, yeah, PC specs.
PC specs. I was just thinking about the actual architecture of the overall chip status. megahertz and stuff. But yeah. So what do you think, Kyle? What do you think about this new chip and this super graphics that it can produce?
If that's what you're into, go for it. Like, I mean, I'm in the same boat you guys are. It's great. I've got current gen technology on my phone that I'm going to be having. I mean, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, that's great. I could have that on my phone in the future, but in the meantime, I'll be playing a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One that looks better. So it's like trying to promote a technology that has been replaced and make somebody wanting to want it. Like, oh, here's something that...
It's like recycling a technology, kind of.
Right, yeah. And why would I want that? I experienced that 10 years ago on my Sega Dreamcast. Like, that's what it looks like. I mean...
And now you're going to force me to do it in something I don't like playing games on.
Right, yeah. So, I appreciate the fact that they are trying to make it better and have found a way to put that kind of technology in something like a phone, but does it turn me on to the genre of mobile gaming anymore? No. That being said, if some game were to come out and it was actually I think there was a Deus Ex game. Was it Fall? Was actually supposed to be pretty good because a lot of people had a concern when it was announced that it was just going to be like this mobile, just monstrosity. Yeah, but they actually said no. This is actually a thought out experience just on a mobile platform. So I actually would like to play that. That's actually one game that actually has me kind of curious because I played Human Revolution but didn't get too deep into it, but it was pretty cool. So
and then we have the Halo twin stick shooter, which you know what I mean when I say twin stick shooter, like the left stick moves you around, the right stick points and shoots.
Yes, Paul, okay. We're not idiots.
I don't know how smart you guys are. Sometimes I say things and you're like, oh, but anyway, but I guess you are console gamers, and that is kind of a console thing. But anyway, yeah, to me, I think that's stupid in a way. Like it's definitely like an easy game that could possibly work pretty well on a mobile device because again, you're just using two things. But joysticks, like those fake little joysticks on those things, just don't work at all. Like I don't know what they're thinking doing a twin stick shooter on a touchscreen device. Like that just seems like such a waste of development time, especially for a Halo game. Like they could have done like a Halo RPG or something that was like an isometric kind of like the old Neverwinter games. I don't know.
What do you guys think about not total change of topic, but isn't NVIDIA making like a gaming tablet thing like called like the Razer or something like that?
Not a tablet. Oh no, they already made the tablet, the Razer. The Razer's out.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like a huge screen, but then it's got like two grips on the sides with
that's extra.
Analog sticks.
Those are extra.
Ah, okay.
So
I thought it was all in one.
No, that's an attachment.
That's like a peripheral for it?
Yeah, and then you can actually get like a little keyboard for it, and then I feel like there's something else you can get for it.
Or you can just buy a laptop.
Right, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because I guarantee you that thing is probably $600 or $700.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. Yeah. I mean that was definitely cool. And then of course NVIDIA also has their Shield, which is kind of their Game Boy, their DS, but it's not DS. It's just one screen. But that just kind of streams games, and I guess and it does more than that. It definitely has like you can definitely download and play like high-end games that you can't on anything else. But it also just has the ability to just stream for your computers for like newer games, which is interesting, I guess, if you want to lay in bed and play some computer games. But that's still the problem though. Like I'm still having to hold that screen up to my face just to be able to see it. Like I don't know.
Yep.
I like that NVIDIA's trying, for sure, because the more new stuff they do, then the more innovation they're gonna have just in general.
Sure.
And I know you guys don't. I mean, you guys have been mainly console, which is actually usually more AMD than NVIDIA. But hopefully NVIDIA, now that they're kind of doing some of this mobile stuff, maybe they'll kind of get into more of the console stuff in the future. I don't know. I think these new consoles are supposed to be AMD cards, but
Yeah, they're both
whatever.
AMD.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I read an article, and this is definitely off topic, but like at the bottom, and it was about Xbox and their new indie game stuff, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But at the bottom of the article, basically they're saying like, we're setting up this next Xbox for the next 10 years, or said something like that. And it's like 10 years. We're stuck with the Xbox One for at least 10 years. 10 years.
Great.
Yeah.
10 years. Like 7 to 8 years was ridiculous, and now I'm going to expect you to give me good gaming for 10 years.
Hopefully it fails, and in 4 they have to rethink their strategy yet again. And
Who knows? All right, let's talk a little bit about actually something that I'm really excited about with mobile gaming, and that's like second screen experience that we saw a lot at E3. Was a lot, if not almost every single game that was new IPs had in some way, shape, or form the sentences running on really long second screen experience.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm so bad at names.
Well, Watch Dogs had one
Right.
where you can, put a ping out and someone can join your game and kind of like control electronic stuff on the map.
1 second, real quick. I forgot to say this FTHcast is not sponsored by Monster. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. All right, that was totally worth it.
So yeah, we got what'd you say?
Yeah, Watch Dogs, and then they mentioned The Division.
Right.
Or some like little floating, I don't know, robot thing.
Right. And I'm sure there'll be more than just that too, but yeah.
And then Battlefield
like-
4 had the commander mode, which
Oh yeah, that's right.
was
Like
kind of
those-
interesting.
those make sense to me because it's almost like like Watch Dogs, for example. Like obviously we've seen gameplay. He's running around, whips out his cell phone, and is
Right.
doing stuff on it. So it almost makes you feel as though like, you're
wearing a trench coat and a little mask.
wearing
around
a
your
trench
face.
coat and murdering humans in public in Chicago.
Exactly.
But like that kind of that use of a second screen
Right.
adds to the immersion, which my whole thing about this next generation has been, yeah, it's going to look better, but how is it going to, like, I want to be pulled in more. That's what I want. So that is something that excites me.
Yeah. I'm
so-
definitely at first I was really kind of skeptical because it just seemed like everybody was doing it, like it was the next hot button. But the more I see it, the more it definitely makes sense. I think they even showed it on the zombie game, one of the 1,000 ones that they showed.
Oh, Dead
Yeah.
Rising 3, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was Dead Rising 3. I think they
Yeah.
had a little bit of that in there.
Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like for every one that is good, there's going to be 9 that are bad.
Oh yeah.
It might be like a multiplayer thing, like we talked about last time. Like, oh, this is whatever game. I mean, whatever the game
Yeah.
is, and then they've got like download this app, and it's just some stupid. You don't need it.
Right.
Just to get you to like buy microtransactions or something.
Exactly.
As long as it's not required and doesn't like take away from your experience of the game, like, if you're using a second screen, you get to do this kind of stuff. Like, I don't want that
Yeah.
crap.
Or like, oh, your friend's helping you out. He can shoot missiles. It'll be an extra $1 for every missile. Like I could see that kind of. Like I could see
that happening.
I was gonna say I could see that happening with like Dead Space, with the way
How
that they just.
realistic is? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that with the way that like EA started doing microtransactions, I could see him kind of doing that kind of stuff. Like be like, oh yeah. Well, you help your friend out. It'll only cost you 50 cents.
And the worries me about the Battlefield 4 one in particular is it gonna be like a game breaker? Like, is someone with this tablet just gonna destroy everyone pretty much? Because the way I took away from it is like he just pretty much has a a view of the entire map and just can call missile strikes down all over it. Like,
Well,
it just seems way overpowered.
I bet it's limited.
From my understanding, I thought it was almost like those had to be like I use this term very loosely, like a kill streak reward. Like if you did something that allowed him to call in, like whatever.
Yeah, like maybe
I
if
thought
your
it was just
team
like
was
one
winning.
character on each team was the commander. That's
Just-
I could be totally wrong.
Well, no, I mean I think that's how it's set up, but I think like if I don't know, I mean you capture whatever B and like it unlocks the ability for him to like, oh, you now have air support. Where do you want to call in this missile strike, or do you want this ammo to be dropped here or there? So, but I don't think it's like a continuous, like just throwing out, all this air
Infinite
support.
missiles. And it's probably set up in a way that like you join a specific type of game and both teams have to have commanders before the game will start. So that way it's even, But I think the majority of what the commander's going to do is to point out like, oh, these guys see bad guys here, so now everybody sees bad guys, and I don't know, stuff like that. Or like, we need to go here, the troops are moving this way.
Yeah, right.
It'll be more informational, which in a way it sounds kind of boring, but I think that'd be kind of fun. Like if you and the rest of our little clan of friends were playing Battlefield, and I was sitting back and just giving you all the information, I could see myself doing that.
Like, yeah, see, like that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Delta Squad,
Delta Squad.
group of 6 tangos moving to the northwest. Deploy smoke and
Delta Tango Charlie, I need you back at the base because I forgot my sunglasses. I don't know.
And I'm playing super realistic mode, so I'm sitting in my apartment dressed in army fatigues, and
You have this like Battlefield like map, like really nice like digital map as your coffee table. I don't know. Sorry.
I was almost kind of surprised for this reason only that the new console controllers didn't have a screen on them. I mean, I know you can't do exactly the same thing on like a small screen on a controller compared to like a tablet, but
do you mean like how the Sega Dreamcast had?
exactly, they
Or
were
the
streets
Wii U.
ahead. Yeah, exactly, the Wii U. I mean, whatever.
I think part of the reason, and I think with Xbox we'll definitely see, because they have the Xbox Glass, we'll see like dual screen experiences with that. But that's definitely something unique to Nintendo that I don't think the other consoles have caught on to, and maybe they will in the future. Maybe they're kind of kicking themselves because, like I was saying earlier, the 3DS is super sales, and it has been really strong for a while now. So,
I guess I don't want to sacrifice like the functionality of their controller. When you have to put a screen in the middle of it.
And then you have the size, and then you just have to deal with the whole overall. Like if you have 2 people in the same room, like with the Wii U, you only get one controller like that per Wii U. So
I was so disappointed about that. I thought everyone could have those big old things. I was like, man, that's gonna be actually pretty cool.
that would be cool. But I think the reason that is though is because that little tablet steals processing power from the Wii U, because that in itself, that controller has no internal processing power. It just receives information and displays it on the screen. So I think that's also part of the reason why, like they say, oh, this is more powerful than the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 4, but we don't see games necessarily running on it well because it's doing 2 screens at once, which the other consoles were not doing.
How long is it going to be before a game to use a second screen experience on Xbox is going to require that it be the Xbox Surface or whatever it is? Xbox. I guarantee, like the next Halo that comes out is like, you get super mega armor, Spartan armor if you get, but you have to have the Xbox tablet.
Yeah, the Xbox Glass, whatever. I don't know.
And it has to have connect 24/7 in your bedroom while you sleep.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we'll see more and more, and that's where mobile devices are going to move. I think that's where they're going to have to move to stay strong with gamers in the future. Is they're going to have to start connecting with the stuff that we're already attached to, which is our consoles and our PCs and stuff. Which, I mean, they've obviously have moved in that direction. Xbox has definitely made a strong move in that direction with their Xbox Glass, and it'll be interesting to see what Sony throws out there to kind of combat that, because they haven't. I mean, they don't really have any mobile apps or anything, right? I mean, not that I know of, that connect to the Sony for the PlayStation.
I like the idea of being able to use whatever my mobile device, what X device, whatever, like to be able to like say edit your character or something like that. So that way you get back home or whatever, you get in game, you're like, oh, I did this all while I was on whatever my lunch break or something like that. That kind of functionality is neat to me, but trying to translate that experience to a handheld is, like I said, what fails.
And maybe that's kind of the point, because like we saw that one, what was it, the car game,
the club.
Was it the club? And she like customized her car on the tablet, and then they brought it out and she played it or whatever. Was that the right one?
There was a couple of different ones. I don't remember, but yeah.
Anyway, I mean, that's definitely, and that might be one of the reasons why they're worried about getting these NVIDIA cards or chips made for these mobile devices, so that way when you are sitting there customizing your car, it's not just some like dinky little like 2D screen. You're actually getting the full 3D, what looks very similar to what you're playing at home. I mean, that definitely makes a lot of sense.
Like, you can't tell if you're looking at a character model from 007 GoldenEye or a car.
Exactly.
I thought that joke was going to hit a little harder. I'm sorry.
I guess I missed it. What was it again? Say it again.
DK mode.
Paul was talking about the graphics and like if you were editing your car, and I said, yeah, like you couldn't tell the difference of whether or not you were looking at a character model from 007 or a car that you're going to drive.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what? I don't.
That was effing hilarious, Kyle.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to leave that in. I'm not going to edit that. I was going to edit that joke out, but it's pretty good.
You know what? I don't want you to edit it. I want you to leave it in, because somewhere along the line, little Timmy sitting in his room is going to laugh at that joke.
Yep. Good job, Timmy. You're hilarious.
Anyway, that wasn't alive when 007 came out, and he has no idea what I'm talking about.
Let's wrap it up, guys. I'm tired of talking to you. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so thank you all again. I think that was a really awkward place to stop, but we're gonna do it anyway. I appreciate you all, Kyle and Nathan, for coming along. It's been a good talk.
You know what? I appreciate you having me, Paul.
Oh, well, thanks. Anytime. Except for next time. I don't want you here next time, but that's okay. If you enjoyed the episode, then feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and vote us up on iTunes and do things other than just listen to us. We'd appreciate that. But at the same time, continue listening to us, because we appreciate that as well. And of course, if you have any thoughts and how you feel about mobile, handheld / whatever gaming, feel free to comment or tweet at us. Of course, my Twitter is @FreeTheHawk. Kyle is @WhoAmKyle, and we have Nathan @Heisenberg56. And of course, you can find us if you listen to us on iTunes at youtube.com/FreeTheHawk, or you can just search for the FTHcast. And of course, if you're looking for it on iTunes, just search FTHcast. That's all one word. Next month, we're starting the game of the month. We have not decided yet. I'll tweet it out once we decide it, but we got a couple ideas. We'll figure it out. But if you have any ideas for like game of the month or future topics, again, feel free to tweet us or send us a message on YouTube. Yeah, I think that's everything, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Bye. No buys? Nobody else?
Well, see ya.